What's going on, everybody? It's Falchion with you once again, and once again we are here for another episode of Borderless Gaming GSA Podcast. Forgive me, I have a blazing headache. With me again, as usual, is Geek. Say what's up to the people, Geek.
Hey, welcome. Hope you feel welcome. Hope you find a home.
And back by popular demand, and with us here on out is Plank.
Hello. I was jamming to the music from the whole, the transition period.
It's a good song.
It's got a little bass track to it.
I like that song. I like that.
Get your head bobbing.
I'd like to have something a little more personal to us or something, but it's a good song. It's a good intro.
Yeah.
What's going on, Evil? Welcome back. Haven't seen you in a minute, bro. I'm
Hey,
glad
Evil.
to see you back. TJ's back. TJ's with us. Hey, what's going on, TJ?
And we got J-Law, and we got Kimberly.
J-Law, what's going on, bro?
Y'all see Lady A. I need to find her. I'm going to get her hooked up with that Vermintide.
And Kimberly, hey, Kimberly, welcome to the show. Glad you could make it tonight.
Good evening, Kimberly.
Really appreciate you stopping through. And anytime you want to step on the camera and in the back of Geek's head, you be sure to go right ahead and do that, because we'd all get a kick out of it.
Oh, looks like Donald's there.
What's going on, DT? Driving to South Carolina today, huh? That's a drive, bro. Did you guys just make that drive like 2 weeks ago too? I guess you're going to pick up the boys. I'm glad you could stop through and hang out for a minute.
So,
be safe.
In Virginia Beach area, do you have to go north to go down to South Carolina first, or can you just drive straight to South Carolina? Because everywhere else I had to go north to get to south. And we got Andrea in the house. Hello, Andrea. I promise I won't tell Ray to buy any more stuff today.
Yes. I want to know the things that buy.
Good evening, Andrea.
Already out through. Saints,
Did
what's up, bro?
I just hear her laughing from the background?
You may have, but I.
Hey, Saints.
Okay.
Saints, I watched your candle video.
So you found Saints, because I haven't found.
Yes, I did. I did find him.
All right, you're gonna have to direct me to his channel. All right, you guys are on the way back. Cool. Tell the guys I said what's up.
Let's see.
What did Evil say? I missed it.
Oh, my bad.
Plank, Andrea said thanks for that. No more suggestions to Falchion.
Got you. Are you back on 5? No, 5M isn't strictly, but so does that mean you're back on GTA?
Yeah, man. You got to get those new cars that are out right now. They got the what is the
car
from Initial D now, or at least a version of it, you know.
My man, Boo Boo, what's up, bro? I'm glad you guys are making it back safe. Real quick today in J-Law's gaming history, I have a card for that, don't I? I'm sorry, my headache is so bad that my vision is absolutely blurred, and so I'm having a really difficult time reading things. But today in J-Law's gaming history, 24 years ago on the PlayStation, the original Mega Man X4 launched, and I remember playing that game back in the day. That was a good time for sure.
Is that X4? Mega Man X4? So that would be SNES, right?
This was on the PlayStation.
Oh, PlayStation. Okay.
The original PlayStation.
Let's see. I remember the first Mega Man X on the SNES.
What's
That was
going
pretty
on,
dope.
Keisha?
I hated fighting Sigma because he was way tough.
Yeah, those are good times though.
Hey, Keisha.
Keisha back
Nice.
in the house.
Back on the RP side of things. That's cool. Were you able to get what is it, Angie back in with you guys? I know that you guys were doing a big collaboration for a while. So Geek, I see you have something up on the line here. You want to introduce it?
Good to hear, Keisha.
Awesome, Keisha. I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Also,
Which screen am I on? I'm not going to play this whole thing, but definitely wanted to touch on what was said about the PS5, the SSD.
well, this actually is one of topics I had for today, so let's get into it.
Well, I expected you to talk about it, and then I was going to bring this in too, because he was this particular one, not just to rehash the whole SSD thing. The thing he's talking about is which one Mark Cerny bought. It seems that Sony has been pushing that Seagate model.
No, they're not. That's the problem. Sony isn't pushing anything. Sony directly said that they are not responsible for anything that any of these do. And if it bricks your system, they won't cover it. But they got people beta testing it.
Well, that's the problem, is that they're very specific as to what, well, they're not specific enough in what you just said. Was that it's see, for me it's a thing, but they're very specific in what you should get, and that it has to have a heat sink.
And
because
in the beginning they said no heat sink because it won't fit. So does that mean now that, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, but does that mean, just trying to fit into what you're saying, does that mean that now that you have to have a heat sink, you can't put that metal cover back on?
You absolutely must have a heat sink.
Yes.
At the speed that they're going, that thing is going to heat up, and it might melt the plastic side panels because it's going to heat up that much at that speed.
Yeah, but when Mark Cerny first announced it, he said a heat sink won't fit in the bay with the cover on. There's a metal cover that I think was initially meant, and this is me speculating, to be honest with you right here. As far as, I think the metal cover was meant to act as a heat sink, but I guess they decided it wasn't going to be enough or whatever. So now, are they saying that? So before they said that a heat sink won't fit, a heat sink on a M.2 drive won't fit in the bay. But now they're saying you absolutely have to have one. Like, if you don't have one, you will destroy your machine. So
Absolutely.
So does that mean that when you put one in, and I guess it really doesn't matter, right? If you have that cover on or off, it doesn't really do anything unless it used to be what they thought was going to be act as a heat sink or whatever. But now you just have to have a real heat sink. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you absolutely need a heat sink, and There are two specific models. There's the one that in this article seemed to be pushed by Sony, which is the Seagate model,
Hmm.
and then there's the one that Mark Cerny chose, which contradicts. Well, not contradicts. It's just different from the one that they seem to be pushing. It's the Western Digital.
So I have a question to interrupt in this one then. So these solid state drives, I don't have a PlayStation, so I'm not sure how this functions out. Obviously I'm guessing there's a bay in there that you're able to put these solid state drives in on the actual console, right?
Right, on the motherboard,
So
just like on a PC.
the solid state drives themselves have a smidgen of heat protection, but you're talking about actually needing a heat sink on the physical solid state drive.
Yes, and the one that I saw that most people are recommending, and again, let me caution anybody who is watching this, Sony has refused to back any of these outright. They're saying that you install these at your own risk. They're saying that you have to get in contact with the manufacturers of these drives to make sure it will fit. So they won't even tell you. They gave a list of specs, right? And they're saying we don't guarantee these will work. A, they might be too slow. B, there might be it might be just that none of them are actually fast enough. They could overheat, so you have to have a heat sink. And not only like the one that like people are looking at, not only does it have a heat sink on it, it has heat sinks on both sides and the heat pipes running through the copper pipes.
So they made a board that is not aerated enough. Okay, so they made a board that has expandable memory, but they didn't design it in a way that it would get proper airflow. So then they want you to get a solid state drive, but not just any solid state drive. They want you to get one with a heat sink involved. If you don't have this, you might be able to buy a separate heat sink to go to your solid state drive, but that might not fit. I feel like Sony, if that's what you're saying, Sony really didn't think this through properly, or they have something sitting on the back burner and just haven't announced it because they're busy effing around. Am I saying that right?
What's going on, Coach?
Good evening, J Law and Coach.
Yeah. So, okay. So, let's be really honest about it. We all know I'm a fan of PlayStation. I have a PlayStation 5 and every other PlayStation, to be honest with you. But so in the beginning, this should have been a thing at release, right?
Right.
But we came to find out a little bit later that there was a heat issue. Right now, we were hearing little snippets about it, and at first, we didn't know what the heat issue was. We thought it was just the PlayStation in general, but it turns out that it was that M.2 drive. And so Sony was like, don't get one, and they shut it down. They made sure that it wasn't active in there. So even if you put one in before now, and even now, if you're not in the beta program and you put one in, it would make your system not work until you took it back out. Basically.
Okay, so this isn't officially sanctioned. Yeah, this is just something that could be used at a later date.
No. So me, I get in every beta test, right? Got invited to the beta test, but I'm not doing this. I'm not putting a bomb in my machine and hoping it doesn't go off, right? So what it is it's in beta test right now for the next update that's coming up later this month sometime, supposedly. And so they gave a list of specs, right? So let me backtrack a little bit and you tell me if you get the same read on this. So for a long time, there was this debate on Microsoft's M.2 drive, or I don't even know if you could really call it. That's what it is, but it's in a form factor that only fits in the Xbox, right? And so it looks more like a memory card, right? It's plug and play, right?
So a proprietary device.
Yes. And then so Sony decided to go with just a straight normal looking M.2, right? And everybody was like, that's better because you have more choices. You'll have a choice of prices and everything. Whereas for Microsoft, it's only, I think it was Seagate who made them. One company makes them, and that's it. That's all that there is, right? And it's 1 terabyte, and that's it, right? But now, so fast forward to now, Sony has released the specs of what they believe you need to run this M.2 drive in this, and it's so specific that it's like right now there are only 2 companies that make what Sony says we'll be able to run, right? And they're crazy expensive. Like for a 4 terabyte drive, it's $1,050. That's the cost of like 3 PS5 digitals.
Right.
That's the price of 1 PS5 on the current market.
You buy it, right? But so that's insane, right? And so what they're saying is, we believe that this will work, right? This is Sony's official position. We believe it'll work.
Maybe.
But we're not going to guarantee.
No. I don't know. You might have looked at some earlier things. The position currently is this is what you need to get.
No, this is what I got in an email. And I'm dumbing it down for sure. But this is what we believe will work. But we're not guaranteeing it. And they're saying you can't go any lower, right? Of what they're saying. And I wish I could see to bring it up. Although that might not even be legal. I don't know. I don't know I can't remember if I signed anything or not. But
NDA on that. Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't even be talking about this. I don't know. But no, I've seen specs online anyways. Actually stupid. Where is
while you're talking about it, put that video up that I have. I won't even play the music for it, but this was for Plank for the question that he asked.
I was just watching before I got on. So there's like this list of numbers. It's all kind of confusing, at least to me, like as a layperson. Like you guys as PC guys may really understand what all this stuff means, but to me as a layperson, like what is it that makes consoles very appealing, right, to the masses? It's over like PC. We all know PCs are inherently better or whatever, but why do so many people gravitate towards PC rather than console, or towards consoles rather than the superior PC or whatever? Is because of the ease of use, right? But this isn't easy. Now, if you give me specifics, I can take that, I can write those specifics down, take it to the store and say, I need this, right? But the thing is, Sony's like, these are the specifics. Like Geek said, they're saying these are the specifics. These are the specs that you need. But we will not guarantee that it works. You see how he took off that cover?
Yeah, so this kind of reminds me like back in the day. Oh, you really talk about back in the NES period. The Famicom in Japan had a 3.5-inch floppy drive that you could attach to the bottom of the Nintendo. Anybody that owned an old Nintendo system, if the box version, not the one they created later where it dropped into the top, at the bottom of it, there was a plastic clip that looked like a rectangle, and you could take it out, and it would expose a pin connector in the bottom.
Right.
And that's where you would sit this disk drive that the US never got.
Mm-hmm.
This looks very similar in that sense. Like, we built this in for something, but we really didn't think it through, and we're just going to go ahead and cover it up. Now, the specs, the back door is still there. You can fiddle with it, but we don't suggest it. Because clearly, like you said, ease of use, clearly the average Joe is not going to grab their PS5 and start ripping it apart, to try to fit something in there.
And now, don't get it wrong. It's easy to those side panels are meant to come off. All you do is give a little bit of a twist to the upper, like if you're looking at the PlayStation where the PS logo is, you give a little bit of a twist to it and lift up, and the side panel comes off.
If that was meant to come off, then they would have screws on them to make it easy to take it off. You could break plastic tabs to get that thing off, could you not?
No, I mean, if you did it wrong, probably. But no, it really is. Like, the whole thing is that you can change the color of your PS5. If just like back in the day, the 360 used to have interchangeable faceplates.
Right.
The PS5 has interchangeable side plates.
It's just,
right? So all you have to do is, just, like I said, there's a slight twist right at the upper left-hand corner and lift up. That's it. It's really quite simple. And then under that, there's that little metal door that he has sitting under his hand right now. And it's one screw. You unscrew that, and it exposes the M.2 bay. Now, it used to be when they first announced all this that you put the M.2 drive in there, you put that door back on, but they specifically said, and I believe it was Mark Cerny that said, it cannot fit in there with a heat sink on it, right? Everybody was surprised about that. That's why I remember it so well. Everyone was surprised, right? Now they're saying that it has to have a heat sink. So I imagine now you just don't put that door on it. With the heat sink, it'd be too thick. So maybe you just don't put the door on it, and that should fit fine, right? The door he's holding in his hand right now.
Yeah.
But the problem is, so they're saying this is what our specs, this is what we recommend getting, but we don't guarantee it. So I'm not saying that they're not pushing anything. That's probably, I mean, I think I did say that, but that's wrong in that I think, but they're not guaranteeing that it will work. If it breaks your system, it's not their responsibility. And if you're going to get one, they're saying, don't call us about it. Don't ask us about it. Call the manufacturer of the M.2 drives about it.
Yeah.
Get your information from them.
Right.
Because if you get the wrong thing.
Because they don't support it. That's why. They want to watch your hands of it. This isn't intended.
Right. I mean, they announced this feature and then didn't deliver when it came out, right? When the system launched.
Yeah.
And then
okay, so the thing when the system launched, the thing that I was getting was that they had to step away from it because they realized that it was overheating.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you and I having that discussion, and I was telling you that's the information I got from the inside.
Right.
I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to say who or what. And so, and then after I spoke to him is when I heard that they were shutting the storage off
Right.
when it first came out, and I was like,
Not fun.
oh man. I was like, why would they shut it off? But then he kept telling me it's overheating.
Right.
And so they were trying to figure out whether they needed to throttle their software or the speed at which the SSD communicates.
It's not a feature, and it's not a feature. Just like Geek said, it wasn't executed properly. They may have thought it was going to be a feature, but there's no way this is a feature, especially if you're talking about like they're not going to support it at all. Yeah.
Well,
they're not going to cover it on their warranties. That's for sure.
That's going to be a lawsuit.
Yeah.
See, so
you make a position for me to put NVMe in, and then tell me that the majority of the ones that I can get will damage my system.
And not just that, but even the ones that you can get, we don't officially support. So if something goes wrong, don't call us. We told you not to do it.
And remember,
but it's a feature.
Remember, the big thing was choice. You have a lot of choices of M.2 drives that you can use in this bay, but it turns out you don't. Right? You only have right now, technically, 2 choices, and I don't even think both choices are out in the public yet. But this is what I've said this a lot over the past year or whatever, since these consoles have come out, or since the PlayStation has come out. The Sony execs, Jim Ryan, these guys are being really tone deaf in the same way that Microsoft was tone deaf at the beginning of last generation, right? You guys, they launched, they offered this M.2 drive, knowing that we are going to need it, right? Because look, Battlefield and Call of Duty are going to be out in the next few months, right? I don't know the size of those games, but if they're anything like the past 2 Call of Duties, both these games aren't fitting on the PlayStation as it sits. But both of them are games that people are going to want to have on their system, right? So they're going to need these expandable drives.
But I thought and I don't know if this is the same thing, that PlayStation did the same thing with Xbox. Aren't there different storage size devices? So like you bought one that could only store so much, or you got the next tier one that could store even more? Kind of like the Xbox Series S and the Xbox Series S?
No.
X and S? No, it was just one. All right, so then what about external drives?
And they're not even a full terabyte.
What about external drives? Will an external drive work in this situation?
Not
really.
You can store a game on it, but you can't play a game
off of it.
So
right.
There's really honestly no reason to store a game on an external drive, because you can just delete the game or remove it from the drive, and then if you want it back, just go back to the store and re-download it or whatever.
Well, does the
stop saying that? That's not how it's intended. It's, if you're gonna reload it, they want you to store it on the external drive, and then reload it from the external drive, and
instead
not
of downloading it from their networks.
Because not everybody is the 1% like you are, sir, with the internet speed that you have.
They can
So
want whatever they want, but most
Yeah.
people aren't going to go out and buy, no matter how long it takes. They're not going to go out and buy an external drive that they can't play the game off of when they can just download it
you
back from the
you
store.
heard it here, people, and
It sounds like that ain't running around.
I'm willing to bet money that people will buy them because they will buy the external drive to jockey stuff back and forth from that internal storage, because downloading it every time would be too painful. There's not enough room for me to store any meaningful amount of games on the internal storage. And so it's so much easier for me to put it on an external drive, and it's still decently expedient for me to reload it from that external drive rather than trying to download off the internet.
Well, let's see. Maybe Sony is sitting on tech that have external M.2 drives. You know?
No. It doesn't exist, because
I mean, it doesn't exist now.
The whole reason I'm showing you this page is all of these drives where you see the interface is PCIe 3.0. That is not supported by the information that I got from Sony yesterday.
There's like 2 drives that are supposedly supported.
That's correct, because
that's what I'm thinking.
Those are PCIe Gen 4s.
Yeah.
Which is the only thing that will work in the PS5.
But so here's the problem, right? Let's break it down to the simplest thing. If my mom was gonna buy me extra storage because I asked for it for Christmas, it doesn't matter how specific I was, how much I tell her that this is what I need, she will go out and find the cheapest thing. And that's how most people are going to be. They're going to that was the whole idea behind this. Like, this is what was supposed to make these drives better than what you got for the Xbox. You could go out, you had choices, right? You had all these choices. But now anything close to a terabyte is way more expensive than the 1 terabyte is like $275.
No. The one that Mark Cerny has, the 1 terabyte, I believe was $139.
No, that's the 256.
I might,
or the 512 or something. It was a smaller drive. The 1
Okay, so
terabyte
let's go back
well up
to
over $20.
let's go
Or
back to
$200.
the video that I was going to show you originally.
I would say my next guess would be then that Sony will be releasing newer variations of this device where that is compatible and you can use it, but the first gen users are just effed. They just can't use it, or they can use it under these particular conditions. You know, it sounds like they didn't think this through at all, or at least didn't have it figured out before release.
No, the world changed.
Yeah.
The pandemic caused this chip shortage.
Right.
And it hurt everything as expected. So in the PC world, it was expected that Intel was going to go to these Gen 4s, right? So it was supposed to be abundant. And then the pandemic started, and the average person didn't hear about it, but we were getting early notifications that if you want to buy anything that required chips, get it now. This was November, December of 2019, way before the US wanted to acknowledge that there was anything going on. And so there was a lot of infrastructure purchases that happened, which is why I was so busy, because I was running around putting in all of these new devices ahead of scheduled end of life. And then we became aware of what was going on, and the chip shortage hit. And now it's not as abundant as we expected it to be. Intel hasn't even released their motherboards with Gen 4 as expected. And we had been talking about them, and they were supposed to come out in 2020, and everybody backed away because they knew they didn't have enough. And so now that you're talking about, and I'm looking at PlayStation right now, trying to find what their specs are for the NVMe. Because, like I said, I got something specific to it. And like you, I don't know that I want to show that. I don't know that it's, I didn't read enough of it to know what
you have clearance to pull that one off.
Right. But I'm going to go to their site and look at the PS5 storage and what they say.
Run Rich's video so that I can.
Okay.
We can not have to deal with.
Let's go to this. Okay. And let it run. Why is it not going?
Oh, I just.
Did I go the wrong one? I had two of them up. This one? Yeah. Okay. But I don't understand. How is it?
No sound.
No sound.
No sound, geek.
No sound still?
No sound.
Yep, no sound.
Oh. Okay. Let's kill this so I'm not bugging out. Let's go back to this one. Click that to make sure. You got sound now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Because he hates Rich.
Feel his blood pressure raising.
Skip it up and that up.
So just a few days ago, I discussed that Seagate revealed their Fire CUDA 530 drive, which meets PlayStation 5's requirements for add-on SSDs. So you could put it in a NVMe slot, and it's going to have the I/O speeds. It's going to have the heatsink on it, which Sony requires because the I/O speeds are so fast. That drive's going to heat up, and if it didn't have a heatsink, it would probably melt the plastic on the side of your PlayStation. So there you go. For $275, you could get a terabyte, or for over $1,000, you could get the 4 terabyte Seagate SSD. That's just shy of 3 PlayStation 5 digital editions. Let that sink in.
I'm sure he's going to do something.
1 terabyte of storage is barely sufficient for 9th gen games. It's not going to be cheap to upgrade your drive. Well, anyway, Mark Cerny, who is the architect of the PlayStation 5, also the PlayStation 4, and I believe he did some work on the PlayStation Vita, revealed his choice for his PlayStation 5's NVMe SSD, and this is the drive that he chose. Spoiler alert, it's not the Seagate drive. Anyway, this comes from videogameschronicle.com. I'll read it to you, then we will discuss. In a message published on Twitter, Cerny, who designed the PS5 hardware along with the PS4 and Vita, revealed that he's opted for the latter brand and purchased a Western Digital Black SN850 with heatsink. Manufacturer Western Digital first confirmed to VGC that its premium SSD was compatible with PlayStation 5 earlier this week. The SN850 retails for $139 for 500 gigabytes, $249 for 1 terabyte, and $429 for 2 terabytes, which that actually makes it cheaper if they have
I like how he
terabyte model,
mispronounces terabyte.
and maybe it's like $900 ish. Makes it cheaper than the Seagate drive, but anyway, let's continue. Slightly cheaper versions are available without heat sinks, but don't buy them ever. Don't. You need a heat sink on your SSD for your PlayStation 5. Do not cheap out and get it without a heatsink. For the love of God, just don't. Well, anyway, Mark Cerny announced his choice for his PlayStation 5 NVMe SSD on Twitter. This is what he had to say. Our solution to our very active 2-gamer PS5 household, his and her SSDs. A couple of awesome options for 7,000 megabytes a second. Ended up putting my money down on this one. Going to be sweet. So I also think that Mark put that out there to say, hey, here is the drive I recommend. Don't go out and put a crappy, really cheap SSD inside your PlayStation 5 to save money and just not listen and just hope it works, because you'll probably damage not only the drive, but your console. Please don't do it. But so I think we're going to see a lot of companies and people that work for Sony come out and say, hey, let me steer you this way. Don't look at those cheap drives because you're trying to save a buck and you're not going to listen to us anyway, even though we engineered and designed the console. We're telling you, you need to spend the money on this drive. Don't get those cheaper ones. Buy these ones because they will work and they won't melt down inside your system. Now, at first, I was mixed on Microsoft's choice to make proprietary add-on storage. And I'm like, it's cool. I get what they're doing. I understood from the get-go that they wanted to make sure that people knew that because it's proprietary, it's going to work with the Xbox Series S and X, but it limited your choices. But what it seems like anyway is that because these drives need to have such fast I/O speeds that your choices are going to be limited anyway. And because it's a standard NVMe slot, people are going to try to cut corners to save a buck, or you're going to have the soccer moms who don't know what the hell they're doing, or even people who are avid gamers in general who aren't into the tech. They just love their consoles. They game all the time. They're going to be like, yo, all right, that's a drive, right? That's NV. It looks like a stick of gum. That'll work. I'm buying it. Sold. And that's going to happen. And then because they're idiots, they're going to get mad and they think that there's something else happened with their PlayStation 5, and they're going to blame it on Sony and the hard drive manufacturer when it's them just not paying attention. So all I could say at this point is, Sony, please put tell all the hard drive manufacturers or NVMe SSD manufacturers, that are making drives that are compatible with the PlayStation 5 to put big-ass stickers with Mark Cerny's big, beautiful bowl cut on there and say, this drive is Mark Cerny approved. All kidding aside, seriously, so people know that the drives are PS5 compatible. Like, make it blatantly obvious. Like, go into Best Buy and have, big stands. These are PlayStation 5 compatible NVMe SSDs.
But they can't do that because PlayStation doesn't support them.
Idiots are going to try to cut corners, even no matter how much you warn them. It's just human nature. This is Rich of Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one.
And so he's saying that people are going to be stupid and do this, that, and the third. And the thing is, Sony is saying these are the drives that we believe they're saying we believe will work, because they can't say we know these will work for whatever reason. I don't know why they can't say that. And so people are going to look for the cheapest solutions, right? They're going to try and go for what they can get at the lowest cost. And I don't know if you noticed, Geek, but yeah, the 500 gigs was $250. He said, "Is that what he said?" I think that's what he said. And but that can't.
No, not
That's not
250.
right. That's not right. Maybe it was a terabyte that was 250. But either way, like, so the Microsoft one is 220. So I know the 1 terabyte one for the Sony one was a little bit more expensive, or actually on the for the
The 500 gig one was 140, 139.99.
okay. So that's Call of Duty.
250 for the 1 terabyte.
Okay. So 500 gigs is going to be less in the end than what's in there now, because while what's in the PlayStation now is 800 gigs, why they did that is beyond me.
Price.
Why they wouldn't just go
Price.
terabyte.
Couldn't be competitive with Xbox if they put the larger.
So instead of making me buy it on the front end, you're making me buy it on the back end. Now I got to go out and get a terabyte of storage.
Okay, lesson learned from last gen. The price difference caused a problem. So they had to make that decision. I can nickel and dime you later. You have the PS5 now, right? You bought it and it wasn't that big of a deal because there wasn't a price difference, a large price difference between the PS5 and the Series X.
No, it's for me it's been a big deal because I have to remove games to play other games, right? I don't like that. I know a lot of people don't have a problem with that. Me personally, I don't like that. I had to remove Call of Duty to be able to play other games, right? Because Call of Duty the full Call of Duty, and you can for sure download Call of Duties in smaller bite-sized pieces or whatever, but Call of Duty, after all the OS and everything that has to be on the drive, this drive is only 620 something gigs, right? And Call of Duty, after all its stuff that has to be on there in full, is really close to that. Call of Duty is too big to fit on something like the Series S, their internal drive, their 512 gig or whatever. So it's very close on the PlayStation, and I had to get rid of Call of Duty. And not that I'm this big Call of Duty fan or whatever, player or whatever, but the fact that I have a game and I can't have it on my system, that it irks me. But that's neither here nor there.
And I want you to hear yourself. You have all the complaints you have after the fact. You've already bought the system. And now, because you're aggravated, even begrudgingly, you're going to go out and buy that SSD. And so, what are you going to do? Sit on the, especially you, particularly you.
You want me
1% Falchion. Are you going to sit on the sidelines because the SSD?
No, they want you to buy another PlayStation once you fill it up with games. You have to buy another one and run them.
It would be cheaper.
So I don't know. Is it at this juncture since nobody could even get one?
And now, that next article, I'm going to segue right into that, is now the latest statements are that the chip shortage may last into second quarter of 2023.
Oh yeah, they're gonna last because the car manufacturers are hurting right now. My wife's car has went up in value since we purchased it.
That is insane.
Yeah,
3.
they're like, and it's a big deal right now. I mean, I was reading on reading the news and watching the news. They're saying that car dealerships are buying up these recently used cars, because
to force you to the new cars.
Well, that too, but also
planned obsolescence. Yeah,
those the chips are short. You know what I mean? You can't get this. You can't get used cars right now because they're not making any of the new ones.
Okay, now Plank, you're gonna get me started on this political thing again.
I don't want you getting into politics, but it is very interesting.
I live next to a used car lot. Literally, it's so annoying because semi trucks parked there. But anyways, that's beside the point. Sorry, and they have no stock. It's crazy. So it's funny and it's great for me because my car is so low that I can't get out of my driveway without ripping off one of the bumpers, but I can drive off on the car. Anyways, that's beside the point.
Would you stance your car?
No, I just put bumpers on it to help with cooling, and for whatever reason, they're a whole lot lower. And but this is my point for the whole thing personally. PlayStation fans, and I'm talking to the ridiculous. Sorry, I'm not going to call you. I'm not trying to call you names. If you are diehard, see, not even that, because like J Law is diehard, but he's not insane all the time.
Well, he's got Ark on his drive, so he's got to have a PlayStation just for Ark, and then a PlayStation for his other games.
No, like 120 something.
Well, I guess you guys can't mod, so that's
we can't. So or they can't do. I can do it on my. Anyways, PlayStation fans, if we don't call this stuff out, right? I understand that you guys think Sony can do no wrong, but if we don't call this stuff out, PlayStation is going to be in the same situation that Xbox was in this time last generation, to where they're losing, and they're not going to lose you. Understand, last generation, Xbox didn't lose its crazy hardcore fans. That's never going to be the problem, right? Every system's going to always have their crazy hardcore fans. That's what they're all about. That's them. That's not the issue. What PlayStation needs, what Xbox needs, what PC needs are those middle of the road people. Those people who are just like, I just want to play games. Right? Let me play games, and whoever can bring me the games at the best price where I can just have fun, that's who I'll roll with. And those are the people that Sony is about to start losing over all this these tone deaf things that they're doing. And people start burning up their systems, their PS5s, their $500 systems, and that's going to be an issue. Point. There she is.
Oh, there she is. What up, Lady A?
But you're here, so we're glad to have you, Lady A.
Thanks for stepping in, Lady A.
I'm looking for you. I need your Steam information, buddy.
So, yeah.
So this is that information that I was talking about. PCIe Gen 4. So everything I showed you on that Micro Center page will not work because there's still Gen 3.0. Look at the read speeds.
Yeah, it's 500. But even Mark Cerny said that it's better to go with the 7,000 or whatever.
Plank asked for your Steam info.
So, who's yelling at me in private chat? Just which one of you is yelling at me in private chat?
I'm not yelling at your private chat. I promise. Not me this
I
time.
am.
You guys have been going on this subject. I mean,
Okay, so I've said my piece. Sony fans, if we don't speak out, if we don't call Sony out on this, they're going to end up falling in the same way Xbox did. Am I saying that Sony's going to be no more? No, that's foolish. Xbox isn't no more. Sony has enough money to sustain itself for a while, but they certainly don't have the same kind of Microsoft money, right? So it is going to hurt, right? It's going to hurt bad, and then they're going to have to recover, just like Microsoft did, because you know what? Microsoft fans did, the hardcore crazy fans did the same thing last generation when they were talking about all that DRM and you can't trade in game or trade games, and we want to
everybody everybody within the sound of my voice. Mark your calendars. Mark Cerny is going to march out to a podium and say, "Are you going to blame us for the pandemic?" You're not aware yet, but there are going to be a lot of shortages. Samsung showed off their new OLED Neo television. Gonna be hard to find. There were some new motherboards. Gonna be hard to find. You're gonna hear this in so many different places. This is pandemic living. And now they're telling you there's not going to be shutdowns. There are already shutdowns that are going on in other countries, or they have put in those pandemic mandates. So where you used to have X number of people on an assembly line, they've now made it that they've got to extend that space. And they're putting up those rubber and plastic strips, like what you walk through whenever you go to like a meat market. They're putting that in between the positions on the assembly line. Things are changing. And so everybody's going to come out and say, because look, Xbox S and X are going to be in the same boat. Nobody's going to be able to meet supply and demand in a capitalist society that's built on supply and demand. We're going to have real growing pains. Second thing, the thing that I left out, one of my topics for today was supposed to be about Gen 5 of 5G. Sorry, is that the necessity, and I had a whole couple of articles set up for the reason, the importance of this race to Gen 5 and why we don't want China to implement it first and garner control of it, and how that is affecting so many different technologies. I worked for Delphi, which was an offshoot of GM, the parts for GM, and in making what's being licensed as the autonomous car, it's pushing on all of that, because now by 2025, cars were supposed to be self-aware, meaning that when you're driving and somebody was coming to an intersection, the cars were supposed to know that there was a car coming to that intersection that you can't even see. So I'm just trying to give you all those things that I can talk about, all those things that has been worked on for a number of time, and how in electronics world, we're all talking about those things. I just, in the other article, I'm sorry, I forgot to bookmark, was the article about the 4090, which they've already been working on, but there's no way they're going to meet any form of demand to get that card out because of chip shortages. So we're about to go through something. And now, who can now come and blame PlayStation because they went through the pandemic like everything else?
See, the problem isn't them going through the pandemic or whatever. The problem is they keep saying stupid stuff that is just detrimental to gaming, right? They don't believe in backwards compatibility. They released, they put an M.2 drive in that if you don't do it exactly right, is going to burn up your machine. It's going to burn up people's machines, right? And okay, they're a Japanese company. Maybe they don't get this about Americans, but Americans love to bring lawsuits. And
not gonna look at your screen right now.
And
look at your screen right now. PCIe Gen 4. So if you put one of those PCIe Gen 3s, they're gonna not liable.
I'm telling you.
Here's the thing about
my mother.
I'm not debating that people are going to do it.
Yeah.
But that lawsuit's going to go nowhere.
No, that lawsuit will go somewhere because we win the dumbest lawsuit. My mother won a lawsuit. She sued someone for flipping her the bird. She won a lawsuit off of that.
So, like,
dude, all these people have to do is say, I didn't know. There's not enough information out there. And it's true. There's simply not.
Are you not looking at the screen right now in front of your face?
Yes, because you presented it to me. But what if you didn't present it to me? Right?
Well, here's the deal. Like, the lawsuits may happen, but typical American companies as we are today is balancing out. Is the lawsuit worth more than our profits? Yeah. So they're going to make a cost analysis over how much they're okay to lose in a lawsuit over this, and they'll still be profitable on the whole situation. So
I talk about bean counters all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could sue, but, you know, the U.S. government's going to protect everybody, all major corporations. And, again, it's a balancing act. Can I lose 10 mil and still make 100 mil? You know what I mean? So,
do you know how many lawsuits have been lost because people didn't read the EULA?
Yeah. The EULA license agreement is crazy.
There's going to be a bunch of class action laws. There's going to be a bunch of class action laws.
Not gonna go anywhere.
And I guarantee you it will. But
again, people.
So remember this.
Please, please hold him accountable, because when I come to collect our bet.
But yes, Lady A, the M.2s will work, but they are super specific on
which drives you can use,
which M.2 drives you can use, and they're not, and Sony is not guaranteeing any of them. So they're saying if you can put in the one, and that's another thing, Geek. They're saying you can put in the one that we suggest, but it might not work. It still might burn up your system. You're doing all this at your own risk.
No. See, they're covering themselves right now by saying that. Now they're hoping to scare you into being cautious and reading
Not
twice.
putting it in.
Nah,
They don't want
Because
it
look
doesn't
at what, and I just showed you. I showed you Micro Center and all the NVMe drives that they have. Gen 3 are not going to work. And I got the specs up for you. Gen 4.
Yeah, but dude, like, and you're saying, okay, there's this article, right?
Yes.
And this article tells you what you need. Not everybody's going to see this article. They don't have this on any official paperwork that they put in customers' hands.
And as they get out of beta, you don't think that they are going to plaster this everywhere. This is going to be plastered around like AOL CDs back in the 90s. Remember, you couldn't buy a computer magazine without getting an AOL CD.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right on that, because if people start burning up their, especially now,
And that's why I'm right, because they have to do that in order to protect themselves, to say that we got the information out in good faith. If you didn't read it and you just went to do what you wanted to do, that's on you. But they're going to make sure that this is everywhere. And again, this was supposed to be readily abundant because Intel was supposed to start making those boards. Only AMD makes a board that does Gen 4 right now. And I spent extra money for my motherboard to get that Gen 4 support that I'm not using yet, which pisses me off.
Just an FYI for anybody out there that doesn't know it, AMD stands for Advanced Micro Devices.
Right. Advanced. Right. And so, what's sad, Lady A?
The way that Sony is handling this whole thing. Yeah, I'm not either, Lady A. And I.
Sony was so busy trying to one-up Microsoft and say, look, we have the faster I/O throughput, that they jumped themselves into a jackpot. And even though you say you're not going to put one in, but right before you came in, I was talking about how the chip shortage is gonna slow up supply till second quarter of 2023. So between then and now, a lot of people are going to want or get a PS5. And as Faustin talks about his annoyance with not being able to have so many games on this system, people are going to read and reread that specification, what I'm showing you on the screen right now. And one specification, the heat sink is recommended, but you're going to start seeing heat sink required. Absolute must. Because then if you brick your PS5 or you burn your PS5, I'm coming to your house with marshmallows. And that's about as much as you're going to get out of that. You can't buy a gasoline car, go stick a diesel nozzle in, and then try to sue the company. That doesn't work.
All I must say is good luck to anybody trying to get a next gen console this Christmas. It's not
right. If you can even get one, before you can get to the lawsuit. But for those 1% people, Faustin,
I like how you poke him about that.
Come on, do you not see the room he's sitting in now?
I do, but it comes with he did what he did in life and he managed to put that up. That's very nice.
Wait, I'm not mad at him. I should be wearing your green shirt, your Green Lantern shirt, because I'm envious of a lot of the equipment that he has. a lot of the pieces that he has, but I'm also
But you
I
have
have
kids
gotten
to do
older.
stuff like that.
I've gotten older, and I've learned that everything that glitters isn't gold, and I've slowed down.
No, it's not that. It's let's tell them the truth about it, everybody. What it was is on the day that Geek was
Oh,
supposed to
here we go.
he was in a firefight in the division,
Yeah.
and I called him and I was like, Geek, these systems are on sale right now. You got to go right now. And he was like, nah, I'm in a firefight. I can't go right now. And so like 7 minutes later, he tried.
Not even 7.
And they were all sold out.
Not even 7. I
Because he was
went
in
and
a
looked for a
firefight.
hiding spot because I was playing online. See the dedication? I was playing online with my team, and I didn't want to just not support my teammates.
That team probably very likely included Lady A. Lady A, let me ask you something real quick. Would you have understood if he stepped away for a moment to score a PS5 or an Xbox Series?
Not while she was getting shot, she wouldn't.
I'm asking.
Messed up priorities.
Let her answer. Exactly, J Law.
Messed
J
up
Law.
priorities.
J
Oh,
Law.
come on.
I
Come on.
was
You
on the
had
phone with
J Law.
him.
You had J Law when you said I didn't get a PS5. So he was gonna shake his finger at me no matter what I did. So I can't go with Jay on that one.
Hey, all I know is I was on the phone with him. I was like, it's time. And even he missed it, but luckily his wife caught it. So, but she was upstairs trying at the same time. So, hey, I'm just saying.
Well, yeah, but Lady A's got a PS5. But what games do y'all have? For
Doesn't matter.
Horizons Forbidden West
Don't matter.
has been put off to at least Q2 of 2022.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. None of it. None of it matters.
Okay.
System, you should have got you. Not Plank. Not anybody else watching, except for maybe Jay. You should have these systems. What?
And now Plank.
Let me tell you about the show. Well, you tell me about the show. You tell me about the show. What is this? What's the show called? The show that we're doing right now. It's what was it? What was it?
Borderless Gaming.
Bordered Gaming.
Bordered Gaming.
So yeah. Thank you, Lady A. She would pause.
A2, Lady A. A2.
Hey, I'd shoot you for taking a bomb in the house. I expect. Matt, don't ever play a video game with me again. That I have a gun because you're getting shot for not having these new systems.
Okay, but now here's a serious question.
Say sure enough. She says show enough.
What?
She's got the glow.
Okay, what is it that I'm missing on my PS4?
If you could use, it could be a paperweight for you.
I'll wait. I'm here all week.
It could be a paperweight for you. You should have it for this show alone. For no other reason, for this show alone, you should have it. I'm just saying. But
for the
he's hitting at you, but
for the DualSense controller, that's breaking early.
Hey, my DualSense controllers aren't broken.
Yeah, because you don't play it enough because there's no games.
Really?
Thank you.
Wow. That's where you are now? Because J Law
plays one game. Don't bring him into this. He plays
but
Ark.
how much do we play that one game? I'm just saying. And then what are you missing? There's Ratchet and Clank, Rift Apart. That's only on there.
Lady A,
Look.
I want a PS5.
I'm angry with PlayStation right now, and you got me defending it.
I want an Xbox, but there's people in hell that want ice cubes, which is not gonna happen.
I do want the PS5 because I'm really intrigued by the triggers that I hear Faustin talking about.
The triggers of their users when they can't use a M.2 drive in their devices.
But I'm not hurt that I don't have it because there's not enough compelling, and I'm not willing to pay scalpers anything. I could get a PS5 right now. There's a guy selling it for $735, and I said nope. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to pay 25 cents over MSRP. Won't do it. I'll wait.
Hey, Lon, you may have more trophies than I do, but you don't have more accolades than I do. So in total, if you add up my trophies and my achievements and whatever they're called on the PC, I think there are achievements there as well. Not even you're like half of a percentage point of what I have. So sit down.
Oof.
Yeah, J-Law. Over in this, where we play on everything, life is good. Lady is right. We play on everything. Welcome.
All right.
To Borderless
Since we don't have a whole lot of time left, I just want to transition to another topic real quick. It'll be brief. Yeah. Are you guys ready for that?
Ready.
All right. For all you Fortnite players, Ariana Grande is having a concert in the game.
You really just do that? You really just do that?
Well, see, I knew this topic wouldn't last very long. That's why I entered it out there. But
because look at the smile on Geek's face. That's not a smile that he thinks is funny. Dang.
To be honest, though, to be honest, Fortnite is, as much as you hate it,
even
as much as people give hate to Fortnite,
they
are doing certain things to please their customer base. They had another concert, right, recently, and now they got Ariana Grande showing up there. They're getting all the features in Fortnite and all kinds of stuff like that. So, I mean, in terms of a company or as a game developer, they're kind of getting wins all around. I'm not a Fortnite guy. I'm just saying they look at Xbox and Microsoft. They got tons of money lying around. You see Ariana Grande in a game? Nope. What was it? Travis Scott maybe was in a game too. Was in a Fortnite too. Didn't he do a concert? And then Deadmau5 did a concert in it.
I have no idea because I don't mess with Fortnite.
Hey, I don't either. I'm just saying. You know,
saying too much.
They're doing stuff. Also, Activision and Blizzard, you guys get up with the 21st century, 22nd century. Stop treating women like garbage. Gaming industry, stop treating women like garbage. You know, that's all I got on that. That was my two topics.
Yeah. Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, they're messing up. You want to talk about a lawsuit? And that's going to trickle downhill.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be Activision Blizzard. Next, it's going to be PlayStation. Next is going to be Xbox exclusive studios. Next is going to be all these gaming developers who've been letting these companies be run by frat boys. Yeah, you're all about to get sued.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
So that's all I got.
I know there's going to be a cheap used market for all of these NVMEs that people are going to try and they're going to be returning because the heatsink models didn't fit.
Here's the deal.
I'm looking at Micro Center and I did it for only Gen 4s, and there's only 14, and of those 14, it seems like only 7 of no 2 4 2 4 5
I don't know if you guys seen the guy
just
Tronics
5
Fix
6
on YouTube.
6 only 6 of them have heat sinks.
Have you guys seen Tronics Fix on YouTube at all? He's kind of like Lewis Rossman a little bit, but he just repairs consoles and things like that.
Oh, I think I have seen.
We should probably reach out to that guy and see if he's got any knowledge as to, these repairs that he's about to get, because people are throwing M.2 drives in their PlayStations.
I need to invest in those colored side panels for the PS5, because when everybody's white ones get discolored from the heat, they're gonna be buying those black covers.
You know what they should do? Yeah, just like you're about to say, and I take you one step further. Maybe they start designing the plastic covers with fans, USB fans on the side of them for these non-heat synced M.2 drives.
That's actually probably not the worst idea.
Or start figuring out some way to liquid cool a M.2 drive.
Well, there's already been talks about putting hyper chambers on the faster M.2s.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
but is it gonna fit?
There you go. If anybody with 3D printer, design a plate that goes on the side that has a fan that points at that slot to cool down the M.2 drives without heat sinks.
Take some of those fans that I used to put on my DJ equipment.
Yep.
And cut like slits over it in the thing, and I'm gonna melt the external fan to the outside of the PS5.
There you
to
go.
Cool it.
Get up in the right place.
You heard it first on Borderless Gaming. If somebody else comes out with this device, we came up with the idea.
Absolutely. So, Lady A, what would it take to convince you that you need that? Or J-Law, both Lady A and J-Law. What would it take to convince you that here's a decent drive to use on the PlayStation 5?
Tried and true testing. Supported by the manufacturer and supported by the company.
That's what it's going to take for me. Sony has to say,
hey, guys, this is
it.
nice.
We guarantee it'll work. And if it doesn't work, we got you covered.
I was going to say, Seagate is like 2 towns over from me. Maybe I could stop by their home offices and ask them about these M.2 drives. Hey, guys.
But as long as Sony won't support it, won't qualify that, they're not gonna say that, because that opens them up to liability.
Either that, or Sony is sitting on their own technology for an M.2 drive that they just haven't been able to release yet. And
I think they're trying.
I don't see that
Indian deal.
I mean, I don't see it, but the
R&D budget on that alone.
Sony's got their hands in a lot of stuff, though. They still do televisions, they still do radios, they still do all that BS.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
What?
Sony does
electronics.
Sony doesn't make televisions.
They don't make TVs anymore?
They never did. Well, very early they got no, they did not. Those are Hitachi screens that they licensed. Look that up.
They got somebody on the hook, though. I mean, Hitachi could be making the drives. They slap their labels on them. I mean, I'm not. It's not impossible. It could be improbable, but it's not impossible.
I think they're going to try to get with Seagate or Western Digital or.
Actually, I'm on their website right now. They have TVs. Bravious.
So it's crazy, but I agree with you, Lady A. They have to guarantee these M.2 drives. I'm not, like I said, I'm not putting a bomb in my $500 system. If Sony needs to be able to guarantee, I mean, because like even if it works, I mean, even if it doesn't heat up and catch fire, like is the big scare, it's not even guaranteed to play the games correctly.
Yeah.
It could be too slow to play the games. This whole thing is just insane.
I was gonna say like
Coach needs a guarantee as well. I don't know what he needs. Does Coach play?
Yes. Remember he asked us about the transportation games before?
No, I thought that was on PC though. I didn't.
I think that was, but still, he plays. He's a coach. He's got to know what the kids are into.
True.
He knows Fortnite. No.
You might know it, buddy.
Come on, don't get him triggered.
I always joke with my son. I say fork knife. I'm like, are you into that fork knife game? And he's like, it's Fortnite, Dad. Let's see.
Anything else you got, Geek?
As he stares pensively at his screen. He wonders what else is on his mind as he reads the comments.
Oh no! So they say they are making the Sony Bravia panel, the ASV panel.
So Sony does make a little bit of electronics,
but most of their LCDs.
I'm just saying it.
They get all Sony OLED TVs get their panels from LG displays.
Yeah. They still slap a Sony label on it. I mean, they could be getting,
absolutely.
They could be getting Seagate drives and slapping labels on those.
And I think that's probably what they're trying to work out, some kind of branding with one of these companies.
It's not been unknown that Sony has their own proprietary memory cards. We know from Sony PlayStation 1 and 2, they had their own proprietary memory cards. I think 3 didn't they have their drives locked up? So you couldn't.
We all know Fortnite. We just
swap those out, maybe.
No. We were able to drop in any
drive
Sony
in the 3.
in the drive.
Okay.
In the 3, and I had the 3 fatty.
Yeah. Okay. What is it? The toaster oven? Is that what
the one that was backwards compatible?
Yeah.
The last, and I held that thing till the wheels fell off. Because then they went from the actual chip to software emulation.
I'm trying to get people to, Sony, you need to get things back on track or you're going to fall behind. Try not to let them fall behind.
Not as long as J-Law is alive.
I'm not against Sony. I still think they're a solid company. I have great memories with Sony, that will never fade. I just, in this instance, every company screws up. No company is infallible. In this instance, I think it was just a piss poor decision on their behalf. Kind of like the Switch and their drift on their damn controllers. Like, you didn't think that through, So
355. I don't get
3.55.
Yes. Coach, you want to elaborate on that one? Because I'm confused.
That's his rank in Fortnite. I don't know.
This Canadian Fortnite. Oh my goodness.
They're gonna animate Ariana Grande and have her dance around in Fortnite. How nice is that?
Notice how Plank keeps going back to that.
Oh, because we've been Sony bashing for hours now, so I figured I could do something nice and make everybody feel good, but nobody likes Fortnite. So
I just want them to get back on track, to remember that, hey, we are, what we do for the gamers, and they're losing sight of that right now with some of the things that they're saying and doing within the company. And like right now, they feel like their stuff doesn't stink, but I remember when Xbox made that same mistake. And Sony, you don't want to make that mistake, because you're going to be in that place where nobody wants the original jailbreak on software on the PS3. But yeah, Sony, you don't want to be in that place. You don't want to be in the place to have to come back like Microsoft did. And because look at the sheer amount of money Microsoft had to drop to be able to get back to where it even is now, right? And it's not even close to where it was in the 360 days. And remember, the 360 days were the days of the red ring of death, right?
How
So
many coffins did you have?
like 7.
Dude, those things were
7.
burning
The other-
up, yo.
Seriously.
Those things were hot garbage. I know how many of those things I saw on people on the internet going, red ring of death, red ring of death, red ring of death.
So if you remember what the problem was with that, is that the machine overheated, right?
Right.
Then to fix it, you had to wrap a towel around it.
I towel baked mines many a time.
Called it the towel trick, right? And what did that do? It made it overheat faster so that it remelted the solder, and hopefully it flowed back into place. What do you think is going to happen when these M.2 drives start overheating in these PlayStations? And then, but the thing is, that towel trick probably is not going to work. And
No, those traces are too small.
So it's hard to get a PlayStation now. What happens when 1 million of them need to be repaired? All in a small time frame. Now, I'm not trying to bash Sony.
And all those people who bought them from scalpers without the receipt, what do you do then?
Yep.
I'm trying to help Sony.
1,000,000%.
And it's going to take the gamers. It's going to take people that really love that machine to stop defending everything about it, right? And when they see something that's wrong, they need to call it out so that Sony fixes it, so that Sony makes the necessary changes. I'm telling you, it's the thing that Xbox players did back in the last generation. They defended, oh, we don't. They said stuff like, we don't trade our games in anyways.
I'm gonna jump off the building and take a chance that I hopefully don't trigger Falchion. But I was watching Marlon.
I knew you were going to say that
Today, and his video today was about the delay of the games and of the system until 2023. And so even he, in yesterday's video, was saying how the Xbox was a good system and how I'm having fun on Xbox.
Oh, wow. Somebody must not have paid him to bash it. I'm sorry. That was
and I was there and I was looking and I'm watching, the money. And clearly I didn't see his donations with the frequency that he gets while he's trashing the Xbox.
I'm telling you, if I've said it before, I'm going to say it for the last time, if we don't hold Sony accountable, they're going to slip.
How can you hold them accountable for the pandemic?
But it's more than the pandemic, man. Like I said, what's his name saying that they don't believe in backwards compatibility? What is that? You don't believe in backwards compatibility, and then you changed your stance on it, right? Or you got these don't bring the M.2s out, because obviously you haven't done enough testing on it that you're willing to guarantee it. Don't release
You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth.
what?
You want larger storage so that you don't have to.
Yes, I do. I want it. But you know what? Not at the expense of, I'm not buying one. Not at the expense of my $500 machine. You know what? Because J-Law will tell you, I don't feel like these systems, at least, I don't feel like the system should even be out yet.
Plank. I think Falchion is like Flo from the insurance commercial.
Oh yeah.
Falchion is gonna say he's not buying it, but how long before that package shows up on his doorstep?
No, like I said, I'm not putting a bomb in my machine. No way. No. Sony has to give me a guarantee that it's going to work.
We'll see.
This is crazy. Like,
Plank, he won't be able to call me, so he will be on the phone with you.
I can't help him.
Plank. I put the one that they suggested in the system. What's wrong with my system?
Can't be me. I can't help.
He was like, I want to call Geek, but I'm not giving in.
Normally, you'd be right. Normally, I'd be one of the first people on this. But you can see, I got invited, but I'm not putting that thing in my machine.
Today.
Tomorrow, next week, a year from now, until
no way. No way can you make me believe a year. I don't even believe that came out your mouth.
Until Sony says, we guarantee that this isn't going to hurt your machine. I wouldn't stick a peanut butter sandwich in the thing. That's what you're asking me? That's what you're telling me?
Don't do that. You wanted to get that grill, the KFC grill.
Guess what? That was made to take a peanut butter sandwich, right? That's right. Give me KFC. Where's that machine? I want it.
Because wasn't that the discussion that we had? I'm like,
nobody else buys.
This is electronics. Heat kills. I'm like, you don't want to do that.
Hey, that's what that machine is made for.
But he did say at least once he was going to try to make some popcorn in that machine.
Enough.
That's crazy.
Grill some chicken on there. But this is bad. And if we keep defending Sony on all their bad,
be safe, J-Law.
Yeah.
He couldn't take all the Sony bashing.
Yeah.
Well, later, Jay. But yeah, I guess we'll see what they do. I honestly believe that they're trying to make some kind of deal with either Seagate or Western. It's probably Seagate, and which would make the Mark Cerny thing kind of bad for them, right?
And you think that this whole Mark Cerny thing, you think that just came out of the blue? You're talking about Seagate and Mark Cerny, the architect of numerous PlayStation iterations, is backing Western Digital. And you don't think that that's like an underhanded endorsement?
I don't know. I don't know. Because again, the way Sony is doing business now, it's crazy like that. It's insane like that.
Thank you. I don't see it. Like I said, everybody was working under the auspices that these were going to be abundant by now. No one could have predicted that we were going to be this far behind the 8 ball. We live in America, the capitalist society, supply and demand. What do you mean there's no supply? And that's where we are now.
That is true. That is very true.
I can't deny it.
So I understand that it's a bad decision in hindsight, but there's no way I could have saw this coming. Because I thought that Intel was going to have to come out with their Gen 4 PSIe boards because of what AMD did. You know, and now funny, there's this graphics card shortage when nobody made that move. I think that's just a way of them not losing more money on R&D.
There you go. You guys want some of those new graphics cards? You can buy the used ones out in the field right now after they've been burned up.
Yeah, but I don't like taking my graphics cards apart and redoing the thermal paste and those pads, the thermal pads to dissipate the heat. I really don't like that, because those to me, those are only short-lived solutions. Once you take that pad apart and it's not pressurized properly, it doesn't transfer the heat necessary. It'll last, it'll do it for a short period of time, but then it's not the same. And that's my professional position.
Gentlemen, where are we at?
Geek.
I'm geek.
I mean, you're the one yelling at me in private chat, but this is your boat right now. You've been carrying this on.
Once again, I'm trying not to leave my team.
Oh, okay.
So I'm only responding to Falchion. So El Capitan, if you want to go to the outro, I'm all for it.
Let's do this.
Somebody tell me where they can find you.
Oh, no. Au contraire, mon frere. I don't do that. So
there you go, Plank.
Okay, I was about to go to episode 26. Is in the can.
All right, guys. Plank, you can find me here, Borderless Gaming, doing this with the boys. All right. Also, Michelle, he's got a knife, which is also featured here. I just did an episode with ceviche. You guys are going to love it. It's delicious and tasty. Also thinking about adding some IRL stuff here real soon. We discussing about me recording some stuff that I'm doing in the world out there while everybody else is gaming. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to throw some of that out there and see if anybody enjoys it. You can also find me Plank909 on the Instagram. Check out my gram. Find me on Steam, PJ Danger. There you go. That's what I got.
As far as me, I'm on PlayStation, Steam, Twitch as Falchion757. On the Xbox, I'm Falchion Space GSA. And here on YouTube, Borderless Gaming GSA. Geek, your turn.
All right, there you go. Geekmaster Space NYC on Xbox. On PlayStation, Twitch, Steam, Discord is just Geekmaster, and on Uplay, it's Geekmaster NYC, all spelled out except for NYC is the acronym.
On the Xbox, you can find Geekmaster at GKMSTR, not Geekmaster, because that's confusing because he has no vowels in his name, and we're to let you guys know that. So naturally, you guys are going to put the vowels in and not find them. So Geekmaster on the Xbox is GKMSTR space NYC. On the PlayStation, Twitch, Steam, and Discord, he's GKMSTR, no NYC.
The master of the geeks.
Uplay. He is spelled out, Geekmaster NYC, all one word. Why is this so difficult for you to identify?
Guys, episode 26 is in the can.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us once again. We really appreciate you. We
Don't encourage him, Lady A.
Since
Am I right, lady? Am I right?
can I lead us out? Since Geek brought up my shirt, I feel like I have to say the oath.
How are we gonna say no to the Green Lantern?
Hey.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, gather together. In blackest day and darkest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power. Green Lantern's light.
Later, evil. Hey, 2 fingers is peace.
Good night, Evil.
Later.
Good night, everybody.